what do you think of state-required standardized testing? Do you think there should be more local control to determine students' proficiency?
Yeah, what you have is you have the federal government that comes up with Common Core, and you have the state government that is testing to see where we stand in relation to reaching our goals for Common Core. Rocky River does very well in these tests, and I think it might be a little overboard sometimes with the testing. I know they're reducing it this coming year, which is good. A lot of this testing is put in to catch underperforming districts. Our district is way overperforming. So from that point of view, I don't like the fact that, I wouldn't like the fact that the teachers, and they're not doing this, they're not teaching to the test. They're able to teach in Rocky River and get good test scores regardless of that. And I think just in closing, we get results back from the test scores, and that helps us to reevaluate some of our programs. Like if they're not doing well in fractions, we can go back and say, all right, what do we have to do to improve the kids learning fractions, as an example.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Leach, what are your thoughts on state-required standardized testing?
I think it's good to have standards in education. I'm not for all the testing, but I think they're tweaking it. I know we switched testing in Ohio, so it's a different testing, and so hopefully not quite so much. But I know the testing puts a lot of pressure on the teachers, and it's probably, it doesn't have the interaction maybe with a teacher and a child like you could if you have extra time to ask the questions, and also bring some of the teachers' passions of what they'd like to have in it. I don't think the country needs to all be on page 29 of the certain book, so I think the standards are a little tight right now. But I think the concept is good, but it still needs to be worked out a little bit more.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Olander.
Oh gosh, let me say this. We need not to teach to the test, but to teach for success. And I think, unfortunately, the current approach to testing has become far too intense, far too complex, far too much overemphasis on the test and its outcome. And we're trying to take what is perhaps a basic proficiency test, and it's gotten blown completely out of proportion. And I do not think you can reduce a student to a single number. I don't think you can reduce a teacher to a single number, and I don't think you can reduce a district to a single number. So I think assessments are very important, but the way they have been developed and the way it has come out with Common Core, it's a good thing that Ohio has said enough. We're not going to go this route. Now, with that being said, I will also say that having a basic proficiency test and having that nationally normed is an important data point to have. If you go from district to district or state to state, I think it's important if we can assess and know, has this student met basic proficiency for 4th grade, for 5th grade, for 6th grade? But those tests should be basic proficiency. They shouldn't be Mensa tests for 4th graders or tests that the parents can't pass. They should be basic proficiency. So that's an important data point to have about your district, how well your kids are prepared. But the way it's been done right now has not been a good way.
Okay. Thank you. And Mr. Swartz, your thoughts?
I have mixed feelings about standardized tests. I think they have their uses and they can be abused. I think our teachers do a great job of preparing to integrate the standardized test into the education year. Is there teaching to the test? No one wants their kids in their classroom not to do well. Every teacher in Ohio is going to be conscious of the results on that test because that's the system we're under. But our teachers are doing a great job of not letting it dominate the school year. And really, our kids we have great kids in this district due to the parents being so supportive. So they come prepared, and it makes it easier on the teachers for the kids to score well. I'd like there to be less. I don't view it as our top priority to lobby for less. We have other concerns that would exceed that. So it's just the system we live in. I don't think we spend a lot of time dreading it. We just throw us some rules, tell us what we have to achieve, and we'll achieve it, and we'll achieve it better than anybody else. That's how we approach it.
Okay, that's good. And just to follow up, Mr. Zuercher, if you can touch on a little bit more about the local aspect. Do you think there should be more local control to determine students' proficiency?
When you say local in our district?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be nice if we could change the test so that it's more directed towards where our level is, which is much higher than most districts. So yes.
Okay.
And we could also help prepare kids for the ACT and the SAT, which is important.
Okay. Ms. Leach?
I wouldn't want to have see any more local control until we get rid of all the national control and the state control. I think we have enough control. I mean, like you say, hiring good teachers and giving them good curriculum with the standards that we have in there now. But we probably don't need any more testing. We need probably less testing and to trust the teachers that we hire, that they're professional and they get the job done.
Thank you. Same question, Ms. Olander.
Sure, just with some follow-up.
Sure.
There should be some local understanding of how well we educate our students, and there's actually information on the Rocky River website, which is our quality profile. And what this does, to my point earlier, that you can't reduce the district to its number. Our numbers are great, our students test very well, but there's so much more to the education that we provide in Rocky River. So I would highly encourage people to look at this quality profile that's on the Rocky River Schools website. It goes into all the different areas where we successfully prepare students and create well-rounded students when they leave our school system.
Okay. Thank you. And Mr. Schwartz?
I think on balance, if you were saying trade into local control in exchange for less state oversight or less federal oversight, most of the oversight is state. I would say yes, a district like ours would love to have that. We'd love to run our own show, to do the sort of education each year that we think is best. Like I said, I don't think the standardized tests are hurting our educational process. It could be better without them. And there are situations where standardized tests, as I mentioned, have mixed feelings, have their uses. You might identify that child here or there more than once or twice, that a test will bring out something that maybe you weren't observing otherwise. And we actually make use of testing that we don't have to do in preparing students for the ACT and SAT. We do extra at the high school practice testing, and it has shown up. Our scores have gone up as a result of practicing those tests. We live in a world of tests, so we might as well do our best at it.